Hey, 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 welcome back to the Virgo channel. My name is Laura. To the channel, I'm going to do a general message for Virgo. Know that energy is fluid, roles could be reversed. Always interpret the message as it best resonates with you. I want to first and foremost apologize to my winner yesterday. I was supposed to do a reading for her, and I wound up being very sick. I have a kidney stone that likes to move every once in a while, and then I get nauseous and because I took medication without eating. So it was not a good day for me yesterday. My apologies. I also wanted to tell everyone thank you for all your nice words and your prayers and your wishes for me, being that I just lost my husband. I appreciate you. I appreciate the support. I love you guys. And I also wanted to mention that I'm going back to all the videos to pick a person for the word of the video, because I think about 2 months went by that I didn't choose anyone because my husband was really sick. He was in hospice and I was his main caregiver. So, I tried to do videos consistently, but you know how it goes. Anyway, if you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Laura, and I'm going to do a general message again for Virgo. Know that energy is fluid, roles can be reversed. Always interpret the message as it best resonates with you. Also, know on this channel, I like to dive deep, so I don't just look at this what your person did and what they're going to do. I always look at why they do what they do and why are you attracting this person into your life. So the readings are a little bit longer because we want to know what the person's going to do. We do want to know that, but a lot of times when people have blocks, why they do what they do doesn't make sense and it affects us. So we're able to see the situation from a different perception, and that allows us to handle that person differently. And then you get a different result, because a lot of times we're stuck in a karmic loop with someone where the relationship's on, it's off, it's on, it's off, and you're in a power struggle. And you're like, I don't understand why it's so fucking difficult. And understand, you get education here. You don't just get the reading. Now, want to enter into winning a free reading with me? You got to like the video, subscribe to the channel, be open to a shadow reading. All shadow readings are done live on YouTube. So if you are a private person, you have to send me your questions beforehand, and then I just channel, and you'll know that it's your reading. I won't say, hey, this reading's for Mary Sue. The person that has one, like has a one eyeball in the center of her head and green hair, which it wouldn't actually be that different because people color the hair green, but you understand what I'm saying. Like, I won't point you out, if you're someone that's private. Now, if you're also needing of shadow healing, I have a great healing coaching program for just $7.99 a month. We do inner child work, shadow healing, reparenting, and all the healing modalities to heal the effects of trauma, because your body is your mind's faithful servant. So anxiety and depression are signs of trauma. And so you have to recondition. You have to not just recondition your mind the way that you think, but a lot of behaviorisms. All right, so let's see what's going on. Let's see, the word of the video is disassociation. That's been the word. I think I did a video just before and this word came out. So hello, Mary Grace and Lynette. Hello. So you're in connection with someone that has a lot of trauma, from past relationships. They are not emotionally intelligent. I'm feeling like someone's actually with someone that drinks a lot to the point that they have health issues now. And if it's not drinking, it's smoking. It's something that, again, is debilitating this person to check out, because we can't stay disassociated forever, especially if a person has feelings. Love is the strongest energy, can't be manipulated, it can't be destroyed. And that's what the problem is. This relationship is too deep, and this person, I feel like, has lived disassociated for many years. they've been connected to a karmic on and off. And so they don't really, they didn't, I think that they didn't feel like they could have love. And so that's when we disassociate, we detach. That trauma is when we detach from our body. Disassociation is, I don't have any feeling towards what happened. So I don't really know everything that happened. There's pieces that are missing. So automatically we know that this person has an intimacy problem. And that's a trust problem, mainly because they can't trust themselves because they can't feel, right? So like goes to like, you're a mirror of who and what comes into your life. So what does that mean? That you're detached and disassociated? Unfortunately, yes. But the dynamic of the relationship would be different. So understand the attachment styles would be different. You have a runner and a chaser. You have an avoidant detachment style. And then you have an anxious attachment style. The anxious attachment style didn't get enough emotional love and support growing up. And the detached avoidant person was made to be responsible, made to be a parent, made to be the fixer, made to be the healer at a way too young of an age where they continually run. But both parties grew up in very imbalanced environments, because that's why we have this type of trauma. We don't just get detachment and disassociated where, that happens every day. It has to be severe trauma. So that's the underlining energy. So we're going to be looking at a difficult relationship, but we're also going to be looking at a spiritual relationship, because that's when the divine gets involved, because otherwise we would get stuck. And the divine is love, and unconditional love works through us. But where we're blocked is where we have detached and disassociated from. So again, second chakra imbalance. That means you have one, and that means this person has one. All right, so let's see what this person did. That's the underlining energy. Let's see what this person did. I had no father and mother who was, well, that's that, listen, victimization. And that's the needy. Didn't get the love, didn't get the support. So it never got confirmation as a child, and then goes with a narcissist usually, and the narcissist breadcrumbs, but that person that never got anything emotionally growing up doesn't know that it's just breadcrumbs, and doesn't realize that it's just love bombing, because they're not balanced. So what they did, okay, so I feel like this person, to try and even have a conversation with this person, they're always defensive. They deflect a lot, which happens with disassociation. It means that they don't process. They're living more from their ego. So anything that you say to this person, they see it as an attack. They're hearing everything through the wound, everything through, there's something wrong with me, I'm defective. Because why do we disassociate? Because there's parts of ourselves that we've rejected. So again, this person thinks that they really can't be in a relationship, and part of it is they can't, because they don't know how to communicate. Because the person that's always defensive, hearing everything from a wound, so hears everything as an attack. So trying to tell this person what you need is going to be a mistake. That's what that is. They're going to twist everything around, and they're going to say that you're sensitive. They're going to say that, you're overreacting. They're going to, again, continually be defensive and deflect. Again, and that's really because they have a lot of anxiety. They have a lot of anxiety just to feel, which, again, they get overstimulated, which obviously, if you don't know what you feel, and now you're around someone that you have feelings for, but you don't want to feel, you've learned to survive through not feeling, through very logical and analytical thinking. That's how that's done. Then what happens is that this person has to feel. They go back to all those past experiences that didn't work out, because you can't have a good relationship if you're disassociated, because it means that you're checked out half the time. It means that you're there but you're not there. And then when you are there, like I said, you're there, but you're not there. And you're also avoiding. Like when it comes to having difficult relationships, you're not going to do it, which this person doesn't. And so what it is they're so terrified of giving up all their power because they actually are being made to feel. And then everything that they hear that you say, which is, you need to spend more time, or you need to like show me how you feel, or you don't really know where you stand in the relationship, so you kind of want to create some sort of boundaries for yourself. This person sees it as like you're constraining them. And that's, again, goes back to that attachment style from when they were growing up. And we knew that because of the disassociation. People don't just get that way. So it's a sense of severe trauma, but it's childhood trauma. And then it had continued to play out within every single one of this person's relationships. So there's a thing that they don't trust themselves. So they always have a one up you when they are navigating and strategizing the relationship. This person feels that they can outsmart anyone, and they usually can, but not you, because you, again, are intuitive, number one. And number two, you're not afraid of your feelings. And this person has feelings for you, and you can read that they have feelings for you. So that, again, is just overstimulated. So they have to prove a point that they don't care, which is when you see the psychological reversal come in from the disassociation. See, the person detaches, but there's still behaviorisms there that this person is on autopilot. See, when you've grown up in survival mode, it bypasses everything. So you're just kind of reacting from all those past experiences. So again, they are very defensive. They have anxiety when they're forced to feel. And that's because they don't trust themselves. And so when you were with them, there was always a sense of that you felt like they were always searching for something. And I just feel like it's like they have a hard time staying grounded. And this person creates a lot of personas to act like they don't really care. And that's, again, where you see the psychological reversal, because everybody wants love. This person hadn't felt for so long that I feel like they went through relationships. They didn't show up half the time, used the person, or the person felt used. It wasn't really using, but felt used. And then the relationship would end and they wouldn't even care. It didn't affect them. This is a spiritual connection, and they don't understand why they don't have control. See, the divine will always get involved. Always get involved. We're not, because we're down here to learn. So whether this person wants to meet someone or doesn't want to meet anyone, it's the universe's plan. The universe, again, plan is to help you heal, to evolve into the highest state of consciousness, which is the energy of the universe, which is unconditional love, which is your energy, your natural God-given energy. So whether we want to or not. So this person is almost like, I didn't ask for this, almost like annoyed. I didn't ask for this. Like, I can't control this. And it's like, instead of it getting easier, it's getting harder. And that's because they have a conscience, where normally this person doesn't have a conscience. So logically and analytically, even though they've been ignoring their intuition, they're like, well, logically and analytically, I shouldn't even still care. Why would I care? I never cared before. And it's, again, because you can't control everything. That's why. But it's making this person frustrated because they know that they have to do certain things. Again, but bad guy, like, they're afraid because it's like, I know that you're going to see me as I'm a bad guy. I believe I'm a bad guy. See, that's the shame that needs to be healed. That's the root of their problem. That's why they've disassociated from their self, because they have shame. It doesn't feel good to have shame. You feel inadequate. Hey, Wendy. So that's what the issue is. And then it's like, and because they have abandonment issues, which, again, so if I love, then you're not going to stay. I feel I'm inadequate. So if I kind of keep you on your toes, where I perceive that I'm always looking for someone else, you're going to do more. And that works for lower hanging fruit. That's not going to work for you. So, again, which is why it's frustrating to this person, because spirit will always bring somebody that's to you that's on a little bit higher vibration than you. A lot of times when you're ready to step it up. And this person on a spiritual level, I believe, is ready to step it up because the universe always brings you what you want. But the thing is, this person has abandonment issues, but they're the ones that are the avoidant. So they're the ones that come in and out, in and out, in and out, which is what made you say, well, I don't really know what's going on within this connection of ours. I would like to have some sort of, not boundaries or rules, but I would like to know what's going on. And that's when this person, again, becomes defensive. So again, their abandonment issues. And the truth of the matter is, in this type of situation, just so that you guys know, the best thing to do is to back off of the person, because they can't control unconditional love. And when there is really a connection, that person will come back. It might take them a long time to come back because they have to surrender their ego, but eventually, you know, that energy of unconditional love is the energy of God. Like I said, you can't manipulate the universe. You can't do it. You can try to do it. And there's a lot of people that think that they can do it, but you really can't do it. And so that's really what the thing is. This person doesn't understand why they're not in control. So you also know that they would be probably very controlling in a relationship also because of the abandonment issues. And then cheating. So these were your triggers because you're like, I don't know what type of relationship I'm in. I don't know what this person, that there's no rules. It's like, I feel like they like me. Well, they do, but they want things their way because they feel safer, not because of any other reason, but because I feel like more in control. But really, that's a psychological reversal right there. That this person needs to control the relationship. That's when they sabotage the relationship. Because again, unconditional love, there is no ownership or expectation. You're on a higher vibration. You see what this person's doing. That's why you're not giving them anything, but it's frustrating to them because they don't understand why. Because they're like, I know you have feelings for me, so how come you're not just giving in? It always works before. But that's because you're not lower hanging fruit. You're not just going to go in. You respect yourself. So this person got caught up in the cat and mouse game, like playing chicken. Like, let's see who gives in first. And their stubbornness, and that's how you know that they're on a lower vibration. Like a very immature energy. So let's see what this person really feels. Again, like, or if there's a spiritual message or something, because I mean, right now, like, the relationship's kind of like useless right now because it's like they're not doing it. And this, I'm afraid this relationship is too good to be true, and I pull away in fear. But we know that. We know that. That's why I said the in, the out, the back and forth, and the steep feelings of I'm looking for a problem. I'm looking for another sabotaging behavior, looking for a problem. Well, we see what we look for, and that's because this person doesn't trust themselves and they're basing everything on their past relationships. They're not in the now. They're not in the moment. Only in the now do you get divine guidance through gut, intuition, inner knowing. That's spirit inside of you. And so if you're someone that gets overreactive like this person, we know that they need to do things like yoga and breath work to recondition their nervous system because they're on autopilot. They're someone that has severe trauma and is very reactionary. People that say things because they get triggered and then they always have to apologize. They're someone that gets in their own way all the time. So that's why they don't feel like they could be loved. And there's part of that's like, that happened because I'm inadequate. Where it's like, no, that's actually what happens when we get overstimulated. And emotional trauma does that. if people are supposed to be there. And I feel like your person, this emotional abandonment is not even that the people left, it's abuse. It's abuse when you've detached and disassociated from. It means that you didn't love me. You didn't love me. You know what that was a parent that took out anger on their child and passed down that generational and ancestral karma of not knowing how to deal with stress and taking it out on your kid. So where there was severe trauma. So this is how it continues to play out. And so it's almost like this person doesn't trust themselves. That's why this relationship is too good to be true. I'm looking for a problem. And I know I'm going to find it, where it's like they're not finding a problem. They're imagining things and they're getting in their own way. Okay, see this. My inner child needs to come first. So this person's realizing that they need healing. See, look at the bottom. Our inner child needs healing. And I don't know what way, well, you know what? Yeah, yours does too. You know why? Because you're connected to this person still. And you're like, I still have feelings for this person. And Spirit says, well, you're not off the hook. Like goes to like. You're nicer than this person. You don't have all the bad characteristics that this person has, because bad character comes with somebody that is detached. They don't care. They don't have a conscience. They have a conscience with you. That's the starting of their healing, but they don't want to care. Remember, they're fighting it. It's like, because it's too good to be true. I'm waiting for the shoe to drop. I know at any second it's going to drop. I know that any second now. That's this person, where it's like, no, you're the one that's sabotaging it. You want to create a self-fulfilling prophecy of it not working out because you don't believe that it'll work out. But it's not that you don't believe that it will work out. You're afraid that it will work out and the person won't like you and they'll eventually leave. And that's what the problem is, because the places where you detached and disassociated from are parts of you that are not developed. And that's everybody. If you have detached, it's not that energy just doesn't go anywhere. It's that energy is then considered wasteful energy. You're an energy being. Integration means to be able to learn the spiritual lesson, but then to transmute that negative energy, because no energy is negative energy if you've detached from yourself and you think that you've rejected, because the mind is not going to say there's nothing there. Because of trauma, what it's going to say is, no, it's defective. There's something wrong with it. So that's why the mind that's why the psyche does that. It detaches and disassociates, because it's like, well, we can't say that there's nothing there, but we're defective. And then it plays out as relationships that are defective because, again, we unconsciously get in our own way. And that's what this person is, stuck in a karmic loop because of the inner child healing. And you didn't emotionally get what you needed again. So in that, and getting connected to this person, where Spirit's saying, well, you have to learn the spiritual lesson. Like, that's why, like, you're like, why do I like this person still? It's like, it's not going anywhere. Why do I feel attacked? And Spirit's like, you're going to like that person until you learn and integrate the spiritual lesson. That's when you're going to not care anymore. That's when that cord is actually cut, not beforehand. So you have to heal your inner child wounds. And one more. At this time, it triggers me because I wonder how much you can see into me. So this person, again, like it says, it's like, I know that you're like, we are connected. Sometimes I feel like you're speaking to me in my head. So it's, again, like the conscience. This person's conscience is, like, again, wearing on them, and that's because there's a real spiritual connection, and they're like, I feel you and you feel me. I know that. So that's that ESP connection through the heart and mind. But then how much can you really see into me? Like I said, and you have all this power over me. I don't feel safe. I don't feel like, but this person didn't feel safe before. It's just you're bringing it out because you you're kind of asking them to step out of their comfort zone, their shell, and that's why it's overstimulating. So we have to say, what are they going to do? Are they going to do anything? Or are they just going to sit around, fart around all day long? With I don't know, I have abandonment issues. So what? Get over it. The only way to get over your abandonment issues is you got to walk through the fear. You got to walk through it. And eventually, this person's going to surrender their ego, even without looking at the cards. And I'm going to tell you why. Because it's unconditional love. They think it's too good to be true. And it's, again, because they've never had a connection like that before. That's spiritual. They're like, again, I'm looking for a problem. But we know eventually God always collects its due. And you might be like, but this person is an asshole. But that won't matter. If you still have feelings, you still have feelings. Then eventually you too would give this person a chance, because even though you'd be like, I really wish I didn't have to, you'll have boundaries. That's the only difference. Where before you might have like rolled out the red carpet and been like, yeah, like I'm going to treat you the way I want to be treated. Now you're like, fuck you. You'll get what I give you. And then you'll work to be in my life. That you'll handle things differently to get a different result. Because once you know that this person has feelings and they come back and they surrender their ego, you have the power. And that's because that person's saying, I'm willing to do it. But it's not an easy surrender the ego. This is, I'm going to fight it every step of the way. So what are you going to do? It's again, this person is actually looking at the many different options that they have, and they're noticing that a lot of their options are not really the greatest options, because I see two-faced here. Okay, so it's almost like they're very logical and analytical. So they say they kind of tried to replace you with another model. Kind of. It's like instead of Prada, they got Prado, and it was like obviously nothing is you, and that didn't work. So again, the many options, they were looking for the many options. But again, like why I said, there's real love and there's romance. And it's again, so with you, and that's what I said. It's like they can see the difference. And that's the problem, not irreplaceable. So again, this person's going to try every little thing to avoid coming back to you first because of their ego. They have a big ego. And the reason why is because, again, of that trauma. That's the mask. That's the facade. Those are the illusions that I need you to think that, because I don't feel safe. That kind of jumped out at me. So again, like this person like is kind of weighing the options. But again, the truth is, it's like they know what the truth is. That the truth is really that you're their person. It's like they just don't want to have to come back and apologize, which is so ridiculous, because again, it goes back to not being able to be vulnerable. They have that shame. So it's like they need to actually do it so they can heal, so they can see a different result. Their childhood trauma, they weren't allowed to be vulnerable. They weren't allowed. They might have said, I'm sorry. And the parents said, oh, that doesn't fix it. The mistake is already there. And again, so now they're like, I'm not going to apologize ever. But their ego is so big that it has to come down, and they're trying everything to avoid it. We see here, it's again, try to get another model, like one like you, couldn't do it. Again, because this person is very logical and analytical, they go back and forth, they weigh everything. It's again, no, because there's too much passion. This person is going to take action. It's like, because again, and it would have to be like an explosion. You know what I mean? Almost like the difference, because this person is like numb. Like I said, they're detached. And detachment, where that turns to disassociation, there's no feeling, there's a numbness, where that means the person's on autopilot a long time and they're not as present. But like I said, this person wants to evolve. Because that's why this situation is happening. So it's almost like catalyst for change. See that? Catalyst for change. It's exactly what's happening here. It's like they have no control over it. And that's the divine. And what we see here, and I'm going to just like breaking free of that old pattern. It's like I feel like it's almost like with you and this person is it's a young love, even though you're both probably not young. Like you guys might be in your 50s, 40s, 50s, but it feels youthful, and it does because it's pure, because it's of the divine, because of that. See, it's like there's a youthness here. There's a compatibility. You feel like home. We can be silly together. Like this person could really be himself, feel or herself, and that's really what I'm feeling. That's the difference. It wasn't just the way that you look, because I think that this person could get someone that looks similar to you. And they tried to do that, but it's the actual the passion, it's the connection, it's that soulmate twin flame relationship, that there's a lot of excitement, there's a lot of, you know, and it's the catalyst for change here. Again, you're the catalyst for change, but I think this person's also the catalyst for your change. Let's see, why the hell you attract this person into your life? Because you're like, God knows it was. Oh, that just kind of popped out. We're going to put that over the side just because that might mean something. Because it's like, why did you attract this person? Why such a hard time? Why? Well, we know why, because of the disassociation and the fact that you didn't get the love and the nurturing. So, of course, you have feelings for this person. You're not going to think that you're going to get it. You know what I mean? It's going to create overstimulation inside you, too. and I feel like you kind of gave up on this person. It was a long time of playing chicken, and you put the time and energy into yourself. And I feel like this card that popped out is the wonder. I love this card because it's like the wonder in you, the wonder in the world. You know that there are 7 wonders of the world. And when you go out into the world and you find things that stir up your soul, that inspire you. So I feel like during this time, you created yourself, which is important. And I'm going to tell you why. Disassociation and detachment means that you weren't living, you weren't being like childlike growing up. You were surviving, because detachment and disassociation is that. It's that you're too busy in there. Again, you're an energy being. The energy needs to be transmuted. What does that mean? Well, if I was disassociated and detached, I don't know. There's pieces that are fragmented. I don't remember what happened exactly. I just know I didn't dream. I know I didn't have goals. I know I didn't have whatever it was. So you didn't put the energy there. So you're expected to do that now, to reparent. And when you say, well, how the fuck do I know what I would like to do if I've never done it? And Spirit says, well, you got to go out and find the wonders that stir up your soul, the wonders of your world. What stirs that passion up? Because that's going to be that's going to be the nugget that leads you to a whole other life of recreating yourself, because you're not your trauma. But if you were detached and disassociated and you've rejected parts of yourself, you're still saying that you're still parts of your trauma. We know that that's what this person's doing. That they're still like, again, the relationship's too good to be true. We see how they're sabotaging the relationship, but the issue is, again, that they haven't developed themselves. So they're so afraid that they're going to lose themselves in a relationship. Lose what? You haven't created yourself. This is why you get into codependent relationships. There's no balance. Second chakra imbalance. As I said, you and this person, no balance. What? Through one's unique individuality, we find passion. Through the wonders that stir up our soul is where we find balance. our true unique individuality, to give and receive of love, your free will, that's the passion of life. Where's your passion for life? And it can't be this person, and it can't be a person. It has to be your contribution to humanity. That's not what happened. When people feel come from codependent homes that are really imbalanced, that person actually is detached and disassociated. Well, like I said, that's inherited family stuff that needs to be broken. Otherwise, you become a victim of your environment, which is why you're angry and why you're stressed out, because you feel like you're a victim to life, not making enough money, not having a healthy, balanced relationship, because you automatically got into a codependent relationship, which is why this person had to grow up and lose their identity, because they had to be their parent. They had to be the parent and they had to be their own parent at a way too young of an age. So again, the trauma that comes from that, if you for consequences with parents that are stressed out, you know that this person's getting hit. You know that this person was getting beaten because parents took out their stress on their children. That's where the detachment, disassociated come from. It's like, I remember what happened. I don't exactly remember pieces of what happened. The fragmented parts of self. So again, which is what played out in this situation, which is avoidant behavior, like fighting to come back, not wanting to apologize, not wanting their shame. And for you, suppression, someone keeping your energy down, not being able to speak, not being able to, again, find yourself. I feel like if you were brought up in an environment that people told you what to say, how to think, where you weren't allowed to really express yourself because everything you said was heard through the filter of a parent's wound. So again, that creates detachment and disassociation because you don't feel safe enough to be vulnerable. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you got hit, but this emotional trauma from a child that feels like they can't be nurtured. So we see why suppression, someone stealing your energy. And again, then you wouldn't have been creating yourself. And then abuse. So this is why you attracted this person. Again, this is where your disassociation came from, not feeling safe. So you see, you're a mirror of who and what comes into your life. This person is coming back. We always have to say, Spirit, this person's coming back. I don't know how to handle the situation. How do I handle the situation? Spirit will say, don't lose yourself. This person have your boundaries. Make sure your life is balanced. There's 8 slices of pizza in a pizza pie. Don't give them 7 slices. You give them a half a slice. You give them you make them work for it, meaning you're not always available. You don't play games. It means that second chakra, as I just shared with you, needs to be developed more, which is where's your passion, the wonders of the world, creating yourself, what stirs up your soul. It's again, you got to lose your time, your energy, your focus, your money on those things because it'll grow you. You then conspire with the universe. You co-create with the universe. And then the universe brings you people, situations, experiences that change you, that help you along your path. And then, yes, this person can be there, but they're not your entire life. What you're saying to this person is, I respect myself. Will this person like it? No, they're insecure. But God says they have to raise. They have to rise. It's like, and that they're not going to do it on their own. They do it for love. And you're the catalyst. You saw it in the cards. So understand they're fighting it right now this way because they're like, oh shit, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this work. Who the hell are you to make me do this work? I don't want to. And God says, I collect my due karma. I collect it regardless of whether you want it, you don't want it, you don't like it. I don't care. This ain't heaven. You're learning to get good enough to be up in heaven. But right now, your energy is not good because, again, the disassociation and the detachment for a long time gave you a pass to treat people like shit. You just can't do it to this person, and it's flipping you out. But Spirit says it's got to stop. Otherwise, you're going to be sorry. This person's going to walk away. They're not going to give you another chance. And then what? So if you give this person give this person a chance, it says we ask Spirit, well, then what can we do? And Spirit says, courage. That's why I laugh. I am stronger than fear and bigger than doubt. I am light, and I remain light. I trust in God and stand tall before the test of life. I grow and become wiser through every challenge. I am a being of new life. So again, new life means to handle the situation differently. And that's by, again, it's changing you, not changing this person, because this person will change by you changing. Meaning when you rise up into your best self, where Spirit says, there's still a lot of trauma there. That's, your life is just more than work and home and a few friends. There should be hobbies, interests, passions for life. Like, what else is going on in there? Because you're giving too much to this person, and this person doesn't deserve it. They need to work for it a little bit. And it's because they're going to just treat you the way that they treat themselves. And they're disassociated. They're detached. They don't treat themselves very well. As I said, I feel like they do like a little drinky drink too much or a smoky smoke. They do something too much to stay detached and dissociated from you because they can't just shut it off. Before, it was easy because they didn't form emotional connection, but there's a spiritual connection here. They can't shut it off. That's what the problem is. And really, for this person needs to have courage, because right now we know that they don't, and you might not be like, oh God, because I remember they did so many fucked up things. It's like, I don't really want, and the Spirit says it's about boundaries. It's about teaching a person how you want to be treated. It's not an easy relationship. You have free will. But for those of you that find yourselves to be like, it's a twin flame and I'm going to give it a go, even though I'm pretty much sure that it's going to end in a dumpster fire. It doesn't need to be a dumpster fire. There's many different realities that play out at one time. Your level of consciousness depends on what you do. You can't give this person more than you give yourself. That's what Spirit is said all through the reading. And that would be for this person too, because what happens with detachment and disassociation is that people get into codependent trauma bond relationships because they feel that parts of themselves are broken and defective, and that other person kind of makes it work. But it's not a twin flame relationship because neither person is evolved. It's a trauma bond relationship that keeps you bound to that ancestral karma, pretty much. And where now you're going to be really angry and you're going to take it out on your kids or your environment and stay in a place of victimization. So that's why Spirit's saying it has the potential to do well, but it also has potential to not. You have to make sure that you break some of your patterns, your sabotaging patterns, which is, again, overgiving, overdoing, being too compensating. Healing doesn't feel good either. So there's gonna be parts of you that's like, I want to spend time with this person. I want to, and Spirit says, you have to think about, you have to be more grounded. You tend to always come from your heart. And Spirit says, and that's good because your intention is good, but it's bad. It's bad because there's no balance. Your heart's going to want what it wants. And this person is always coming from their head. And that's no good because it's a relationship. You both need to find balance, and you find it through the gut in the moment. So you have to tap into the heart, the head, and the gut, where Spirit says, you never do, so I have to put you in a position that you're going to have to tap into your head. If you want this relationship to work, you're going to have to use your head. And this person, if they want the relationship to work, they're going to have to get into their heart. Spirit says, I'm going to heal you one way or the other, because again, you can't walk around in balance like this forever. Piece is missing because you don't want to tap into certain aspects of yourself because of trauma. Spirit says that's not going to do. It's like, and especially since you don't want that for yourself. So it's going to take courage. I'm so glad, Jeff. But that's what it's all about, right? It's all about getting into that heart, consciousness, and inner work. Like we didn't know that shit, right? It's like it's time to do the shadow work. And what better way, Spirit says, than through learning unconditional love through a person. So when it says, God, bring me ideal situations for my inner healing. As I become aware of my weaknesses, I turn them into strength. I direct my thoughts towards the light and see the positive side of every stage of my life. Darkness turns into courage. Courage. Thus, I get stronger. So Spirit's saying you both need to transmute the fear that's held within the second chakra. And that is done by not just the passion's a fire, remember, and that's going to help. But Spirit says, but to balance that passion is, again, by doing your inner work. And the inner work is, again, anywhere where this person triggers you is that. And that's what Spirit's saying. I'm bringing you the ideal situation to awaken these parts inside of you. So understand, like I said, it's not going to be an easy relationship. You're going to be like this to the person, like, I hate you. Sometimes you're really going to be like that. And other times you're going to be like, I love this person. And then that's why this person feels crazy, because they're like, I love this person, but I really hate this person. And I don't really like how that this person has all this control. And so, but eventually they're going to surrender. But it takes courage. And like I said, inner work, because God definitely brings us the best situations to help us heal and evolve into the best version of ourselves. And that's what it's all about. Now, does anyone have any questions? And anyone want me to answer any questions? I always like to end off my readings that way. Yeah, he's so weak, Wild Child says. Karmic lesson, yep, and the karmic lesson always around self-worth. Pastor, when it says hit so much, I see my past her today issues. It's well, it's crazy. It is. It's always a deep dive into yourself, learning about yourself. And really, when you do learn about yourself and then you invest in yourself, you're able to attract the best things into your life that are gonna, resonate. And you also know that there's nothing that's forever. I mean, relationships could be, but everything that you utilize on your path is here a lot of time temporarily for you to utilize, learn, get what you need from it, and move on to the next. So, and that usually twin flame relationships, by the way, aren't forever, because they are so difficult. You're dealing with someone that's the opposite of you. Again, we saw this person logical, analytical, you emotional, sensitive. Both are not wrong, but both singular alone are wrong. Whereas, because God says, well, you're down there to learn, you're not separate from me. I am man, I am women, I have female, I have masculine traits. You too need to integrate what's blocking. So I hope that you guys got something out of that. If there's no questions, I am going to tune off. Does this person's energy affect mine as it's a connection type spirit? Well, understand it can. If you're tapped into that person, but you're not investing at all into yourself, then yes, you're going to be like a sponge to this person, their moods, because ESP is through the heart and mind. So if you're sitting there and you're like obsessing about a person, then yeah, you're going to take on their crap. but you don't need to. Your choice of focus is your greatest tool to cut energy. Just if you're an empath, if you put your focus on something else, you're able to, diffuse that energy, because that's what it is. It's a spiritual thing. And this person, if they have feelings and it's one of those real obsessive energies, you really need to put your energy into yourself also, because that's going to change this person. Because if they think that you're still there and so available and so connected, a lot of times the person doesn't move. They're like, oh, it's okay, like we have this spiritual connection and that's enough. And then it just stays like in the 3D, in rather the 5D, and that never comes into like the physical. And that's why I'm saying for you, you would have to do that. You would have to, cut it off, because you're an empath and you don't want their moods to do that. Thank you, wild child. It's hard to ask a question because you that's what happens a lot of times within the channel. Spirit knows what you need. I a lot of times for my own thing, I'm like, what questions? Even when I do a private session, they like, you answered them already. But there's still a dust part of me. The dust part of me is the ego part of me, which is like, it's never good enough. You need to do more. It's that analytical, critical thinking that is a lot of times sabotaging, you know. So, but the more that you do, the more that it is. And the people that were supposed to hear the channel are always the ones that are on the channel. And that's like it said, it's kind of like learning how to trust, and that's was something that was very hard for me, because my mother tried to kill me several times and my father had cancer 9 times. I wrote a book about it, Healing the Effects of Trauma, psychic trauma. And I never trusted myself. I was one of those crazy people that started every sentence with you think, until I finally, I was a disaster before I became a master. And you can change your life, you can heal your life. Understand that God made us to be able to heal our body and mind. They're self-healing organisms. We just need to know what to feed it. And that's what it's about. Thank you, Jeff, and thank you, Shine So Bright Forever, and Wild Child, and Mary Grace, and Jeff, and everybody else that's tuned in. I love you all. Thank you. And I'll be on again. I'm going to be on every day now that my husband's passed. I got to keep my brain focused, got to keep on the path. You're welcome, wild child. Gotta stay consistent, and that's difficult. But thanks for spending some time with me. I enjoyed you all. I love you. I'll talk to you guys soon.